Sorry about the short notice. Hi everyone. So baby girl is asleep. She's inside. Probably I'll show her in a little while. So thank you Arjun. So yeah, I think I mostly wanted to talk about the most asked question: how is motherhood? So motherhood, I believe that it's more of a mental change than physical change in your life. Of course, the physical changes, you can Google them, and you all know how it all changes. The body changes. There's nausea. There's that. There are 100 changes that you'd go through. But I think the biggest change of them all is that I think a part of your brain, a part of your heart, is always going to be with the baby. You can be partying anywhere. You can be skydiving somewhere. You can be anywhere on this planet. But I think a part of you will always be thinking and be worried about your baby. So recently, I was out with some of my friends, and we were out partying, and everyone said, "Yeah, you deserve this break." And we were out, and I was dancing. Everything was fun. There was loud music, and out of the blue, I saw one of my friends FaceTime her daughter, and I don't know what happened to me. I suddenly, out of nowhere, I could feel tears in my eyes, and then I was like, okay, what's going on? And I just snapped out of the whole party scene in a second, and everything was about, oh my god, how's my baby? I hope she's not missing me. And so I think that is what is going to change. I think you're never going to be the same again, in a way that you can never be just worried about yourself anymore. It's always going to be about the baby, about your family, and things like that. Okay, let's check out more questions. Baby girl's name is Arna. Arna means Lakshmi, so that's why we selected that name. Yeah, baby girl is doing fine. She's asleep, like I just said. I'll show that to you in a while. It's just so different. I think the last couple of times that I did a live were during COVID, and I remember answering questions about my movies, about what I'm doing at home, about who's your favorite hero, and things like that. And I like how everything has changed. Now all the questions are about how's your baby, how's this, how's that. Yeah, definitely that's a big change. So people stop asking you how are you. It's more of, hi, what's up, how's your baby? So people just forget that question, hi, how are you? So that's what motherhood is about. Thank you. It sure is a blessing. And I think I'm somebody who always wanted to settle down and have a baby. I remember when I was around 17, 18, I used to tell my friends that by 23 I want to be married and have a baby. So I think it's always been on my mind. It's just that probably people from the outside who have seen me in films think that it was so sudden, but that's not what it is. I think it's something that I've wanted to do since really long. Speak Hindi. It's so funny that I learned Hindi and polished my Hindi for my Hindi films, and then COVID happened, and then I got married, and now with the baby, I think my Hindi is coming to good use because I have a Hindi nanny. So I think that's, yeah, all those classes where's your next trip? I don't know. That's the one thing. I definitely have a lot of FOMO when I keep seeing all my friends traveling, all my friends partying, and other actors signing other films. It does give me a little FOMO, but I think end of the day, you have to be content and happy with what you have. One thing, if I could change one thing, I think I would definitely, if I get a chance to live my life again from the age of 16, I think then I would probably do this sometime earlier. Like, I would have loved to have a baby in my early 20s, like maybe when I was 21, 22. That would have been the best thing ever. And I don't know, I feel that sometimes, but then sometimes I also feel that no, I think everything happens for good, so I could focus on my career and make a little name for myself. And yeah, I think that's also nice. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕಿರಣ್ ಡಾರ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅವ್ರಿ, ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಷೆನವರು ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ. ಕನ್ನಡದವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ತೆಲುಗುನವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹಿಂದಿನವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇಜಾರಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಖಂಡಿತ ಕನ್ನಡ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬ 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 ಇಷ್ಟ. ಮಗಳಿಗೂ ಕನ್ನಡನೇ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಸೊ okay, so all these questions about workouts. So can I tell you one really important thing? Once you give birth to a baby, I think the last thing on your mind is how you look or how your body looks. All those thoughts just go out of the window. But since all of you, since a lot of girls out there are really worried about that and keep asking me, and I'm sure you're all worried about getting pregnant because you're really worried about how you would look after the baby and things like that. I completely understand, because I was in the same boat. Especially being an actress, I think there's so what I pressed accidentally. Yeah, so I was saying that a lot of you keep asking me about fitness and things like that. Number one, don't keep thinking about fitness, body, looks, because these are so trivial. Nobody really cares about those things once you have a baby, because there's so much to do in a day. Whether she's okay, whether she's eaten, whether she's drank her milk, whether she's not eaten yet, of course, whether she's drank her milk, whether she's sleeping, whether she's okay, and things like that. But since you keep asking me, and since it is something that we all worry about today, I think just basic fitness will really help. So right after you deliver, I think there's the hormones are so strong that at that point of time, whatever you do, you could be doing some crazy HIIT workout or whatever, but it's very unlikely that you lose all your weight quickly, because during that phase, I think God has made it such that you can't really focus on those things. And it also depends on what type of delivery you had, because if you had a C-section, it could be a little hard to get back to workouts really soon. But yeah, nevertheless, I think what's important is that you just stay fit and stay healthy. So eat appropriate, eat healthy. Don't really, I think especially after you give birth, I don't know what happens to the body. You become so hungry, so hungry. I remember a time when I used to drink gallons of water, and it's so funny because so one side my mom's a gynac, and there's all this whole the advice that comes from a doctor, whether it's my mom, my dad, and things like that. But on the other hand, I also have people advising me about how one can really lose weight by following patya. I've heard about, when the traditional Banantana. But there are some things I disagree with, because I disagree that you should completely stop drinking water. I heard that a few new moms just drink a small glass of water the entire day and breastfeed so much so that they lose weight. I personally believe that it's extremely unhealthy to do that, because that could lead to kidney stones because of the lack of water in your body and dehydration. So don't dehydrate yourself and all of that. Drink as much water as you can, especially after delivery. It really helps, and especially if you're feeding. And I used to drink gallons of water, like literally like a big bottle of water. And those who know me know how less I drink water. I forget to drink water in the day. So if that was my level of thirst, you can imagine. And when it comes to food, so during the last month of my pregnancy, I was so uneasy and I couldn't eat. And even though my mom was forcing me that you have to eat because there's a baby inside, nutrition is so important in these last few weeks of pregnancy and things like that. But I think those I had a lot of heartburn and acid reflux, so I couldn't really eat properly. And once you deliver, I don't know what happens, but you suddenly become extremely hungry, and you're also bored at home because you're just feeding, sleeping, nothing to do. So I used to Swiggy a lot, and that was so wrong. So don't do that. And it's also very tough because in my house, since both my parents are doctors, or even if they weren't, they're totally against these apps and ordering food from the outside or parcels and things like that. They hate it, and that's always been the case, whether it was COVID, whether it's now. But I couldn't help it. I used to just order pizza, I used to order whatever dim sums one day. So every day something new, and by evening I'd get bored. By evening I'd get bored of following any diet or anything. I'd quickly order pizza and quickly finish the entire pizza, because that's what Delvey does to you. You become extremely hungry. So there are times when I've eaten a lot, and then there are times when my nanny had told me that even when you delivered, you were skinnier than what I had become like a couple of months after delivery because of all the unhealthy food. So it's all in your hands, I think. But I would say just go with the flow, because don't punish yourself by not eating, or like by dehydrating yourself. And another important thing that I saw was a lot of people, a lot of new moms, they eat and then they try to puke it out. Don't do that. That's really bad. You confuse your body by doing that. Anyway, enough of advice, because I'm not even you should be taking advice from a professional, not me. Kannada.